Broadcast is live. Greetings, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to Etacude, and I am not Eric. That's right. My name is Ben, and it is so wonderful to be here with you today. I want to thank Eric for allowing me to come in and help him out, kind of in the last minute sort of thing with his with the live stream. And so thank you so much for being here. It's awesome to have you here. I'm going to keep kind of a look on the numbers here just to as we kind of get things going. I'm not even sure how many we have here. Oh, there's 7 waiting, I think. They'll be in soon. Hey, welcome. Okay, the first person says hello. Awesome. All right, lots of people will be saying hello. Very good. And Nevina from Bulgaria. Very nice to meet you. Fantastic. Okay. Hello. Kuldeep, very nice. Oh, fantastic. Now we got some stuff here. Aklad, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for being here with us. The hellos are coming in, firing from all sides of my computer screen. So if I do miss your hello in the chat, I'm not doing that on purpose. I swear. Fantastic. So. Oh, okay. We've got US, we've got Ghana, Vietnam, Algeria, Kazakhstan, Rio de Janeiro, Lima. Okay, Brazil. Fantastic. Lots of wonderful places. Yeah. Is it cold here? Well, I'm originally from Canada, so right now it's like, a balmy 0 degrees Celsius. So no, it's pretty good actually. It's great. Yeah, it's not like minus 20 or 30 as it is back home. Oh, excellent. Okay, I got the name correct. I was so worried that I was going to make a mistake there. So fantastic, excellent. Let me just introduce myself. My name is Ben, and I am a coworker actually with Eric at one of the universities here in Korea, and we've known each other. I think since 2017. I think we came into the university together, and we have been working together. We've been collaborating, and I think really when COVID hit, that's when the collaboration between Eric and I really took off, because his more so than mine, I think, to be fair. But our collaboration really took off in terms of the fusion of technology in the classroom to be the kind of teacher that we needed to be during that crucial year, that crucial time when the world was locked down. So, and as you can see, my daughter is actually behind me right now, and she's trying to sneak across, but you'll be able to see her. There she goes. Let's see. Hi from Germany. Please don't try to pronounce my name. Okay, well, that's a challenge then. I'm going to try to have to do it. Jiao, is that right? I hope I got that right. It sounds right. All right. Oh, 39 degrees Celsius in Rio de Janeiro. Boy, that would be nice right now. Oh, fantastic. Great. I'm glad I got the name correct on that one as well. Makes me feel good. I do have a little bit of a cold, so I might cough. I will try to get away from the mic if I do happen to do that. So I apologize if I blow your ears out during that time. I do apologize. I have been a teacher, just as a little biography of myself to you. I have been a teacher now for nearly 20 years. I was educated in Canada, of course, because I'm from Canada, and I do have a teacher's degree as well as a master's degree. Assuming you're in a live feed going all over the world. Sorry, just a second. You guys have to not be here. I'm sorry. You have English books upstairs, and I'm in a live feed to people all over the world. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to go. I'm sorry. Upstairs. Sorry. That is the problem. Just get up and go. Go, 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 go. Close the door. Thank you. That's the problem when you've got kids kind of, doing their thing. There we go. Okay, they're off. So I was educated in Canada, and I got my teacher's degree there. I went to England. I taught there in history and world religions, and then moved back to Canada, and then eventually came to Korea back in 2005, and been here ever since. So that's a little bit about me. So I am bringing as much of that 20 years experience as an educator to you, and I hope that whatever information, excuse me, I hope that whatever information I can give you has value and has tangible strategic value for you as a teacher in the classroom. Because if it's not, then I apologize. But I think what I am, I think what I can do and what I will bring to you will be helpful. Let's see, Hanan Bashir. What's her name? My daughter's name is Sumin, Sumin, and my son's name is June. And he was kind of behind my head, so you didn't see him, but he was behind there. And his name is June. So yeah. They're great kids. I do love them. And they knew I was going live stream to people all over the world, and they still decided to come down and interrupt. So, what are you going to do? That's okay. No problem. I do want to say, just at the beginning, before I begin, just a couple of housekeeping notes, I guess. I do want to promote myself a little bit to you. I have 2 websites, 2 YouTube channels, and an Instagram channel. And it would be of great help if any of you could subscribe to that. I'm going to leave them here in the YouTube in the YouTube chat. I'm going to put them in there. Let me just copy paste. There we go. So you can just then go in and copy paste into copy the URLs and go in. It would be very helpful. One of them is ESL Revolution, which is a dedicated. It is a channel that I've used primarily for my students, although there is information in there related to English language teaching generally. And I'm just starting to get back to that one because I kind of left that aside. And my primary one right now is Korea Overlander, which is actually an outdoor enthusiast channel here in Korea. So if you're interested in learning a little bit about Korea and its outdoor, camping and that sort of thing, then that's your channel to go to. And of course, Korea Overlander at Instagram. Instagram at Korea Overlander. It's just my kind of like my day-to-day. So if you'd like to check me out there and say hello and see the pictures I'm posting, then I'd love to see you there as well. And you are free to ask questions to me through those channels related to English language teaching if you want. I have no problems taking your private messages. be happy to help you out in that regard. So I will put those notifications in the chat again at the end of our session. Okay, well, today is about classroom management, and excuse me, some ginger tea. And I do want to say thank you so much for everybody who has come today. I know I cannot say hello and respond to everybody who's popping in the channel, but I do want to say thank you so much. It makes me feel proud that some of you are coming to see this stranger from nowhere. So I do really enjoy the fact that you are here. So thank you so much. So today's topic is going to be classroom management. And as Eric has just pointed out, Eric Sr., big topic, says Eric. And I believe that's Eric's dad. It looks like Eric's dad anyway. Anyway, I hope it is. And this is actually a pretty big topic, and there's so many different ways and angles and perspectives to come to classroom management. And I would say, to be quite honest, my way of dealing with classroom management issues when I first started is dramatically different than what it is nearly 20 years later. And I think part of that change is experience. I think part of that change is also just learning different simple strategies that allow you to manage yourself in as much as managing the classroom. When we say classroom management, we think quite often, Kareem, how's it going? Very good, thank you. Stay tuned. We often think of classroom management, I think, as something outside of us, that it's in the classroom. But I'd like to think of it more in terms of me as a teacher. How do I manage myself in relation to the classroom environment that I'm teaching? And that's a question that I don't often, or it's an idea that I don't often hear people talking about. I know I've heard it from time to time, but there really is there's an existential need for understanding that question before we even begin to start thinking about the topic relating to the students and their behavior. I am of the opinion, and I think this will be borne out over the next 30, 40 minutes or so of discussion, that I'm of the opinion that classroom management fundamentally begins with the teacher. It must happen here first, because if you cannot manage yourself, how can you be expected to manage others? And so I think this idea is crucial in understanding classroom management. And I think this is why it takes a long time for teachers to get to the point where they are actually becoming comfortable with themselves as a teacher, let alone with having 20, 25, 30, 40 kids in a classroom. So let's see. As teachers learn from their mistakes and develop professionally, the outset often has so many mishaps, but slowly but surely, these obstacles are bound to vanish gradually. Yes, that is exactly right. Exactly right. They do it does take time for that sort of thing to occur. But fear not, because there are things that you can do now to put into place, not only in yourself, but in your classroom, to actually begin to solidify some of the goals and some of the desires that you as a teacher have for the students in your classroom. I just wanted to shout out to say, welcome to all of those who are now here. Got lots of people who are making comments, and I will try to get to some of them over the course of the next 20 or 30 minutes. So I want to talk about 4 things today, and all 4 of these things are actually very connected. They are not separated from each other. They're interconnected. Eric is still alive. He's still here. He's watching us from the distance. He's in another room somewhere, and he is here. He will be coming back in near the end of the show. So stay tuned, BM. He'll be coming back. Don't worry. Okay, so there are 4 things that I want to touch on today and kind of unpack a little bit with you to give you some practical information. Oh, oh, BM, I want to see his face, please. Yes, you will for sure. Absolutely. Are you saying that my face is not as good as his? Is that what you're saying? Oh, BM. Oh, I'm hurt. No, I'm just kidding. I understand. We need to have the regular people. I get that. Yes, it's quite all right. No. He went on vacation. I'm just covering for him today, so it's quite all right. All right. So the first thing that I feel is fundamental to classroom management is planning and preparation. I cannot stress this enough. So there's a few things I want to talk about in that particular topic that I feel like are things that you can do, practically speaking, behind the scenes before you even enter the classroom. These are things that you can do before you even enter the classroom. So, so practically speaking, number 1, lesson plans. Lesson plans can at times feel like a lot of work. But if you are a newer teacher, even if you're an older teacher like me, I've been around, like I said, for almost 20 years. If you have a lesson plan in front of you, it solidifies the content that you want to teach, and it also allows you to focus on facilitating that education for students who may have individual needs that you can then focus on. Because if you are focused on, oh, what am I going to teach next? You're not going to focus on that student in the second row needs my help. And that's a difference. That's a quality of life difference in the classroom that I think is fundamental. And if you can do that, if you can foster an environment in yourself where you have trained yourself, do diligently to create those lesson plans, Um, there's lots of templates online that you can go and find for yourself. There's no one way of creating a lesson plan that's better or worse than the other. You just have to find what suits you. That's really what you need to do. And stick with it. Stick with it as much as you can. Because, like I said, your focus will not be about what you're teaching next. It will be on who you can teach next and how you can teach next. So that's one thing that you can do there as well. The other thing that you can do, and this is in conjunction with lesson plans, is timings. I don't know. I don't know who may or may not know this. Maybe this is kind of an old style way of doing things, but I still find it very, very helpful. Give yourself and the students particular amount of time to accomplish a particular task, given the type of, given the, whatever the task is. If you've judged that this task can take 25 minutes, then tell the students that you've got 25 minutes to do it. But as you have given them the activity with a set amount of time, here's the part 2 of that. Don't stand in the front of the room and actually watch them do it. I think it's far more effective as a strategy to step into the classroom behind, get out of the podium, get into the actual classroom itself, excuse me, and engage with the students at their tables, in their groups. Keep an eye out for somebody who may be struggling with something, and you are right there to catch them and to help them and to ask those important questions to get them restarted again. Or if you've noticed that a group over here is doing a really, really good job, make a point of going up and say, hey, you're doing a fantastic job. Great effort. Keep it up. That's where the motivation from you to them can be very, very helpful. They can be motivated by, being given a thumbs up, but they can also be motivated by knowing that you are there for them when they need you. So get out from behind the desk, get into the classroom, walk around while they're doing the activities that you've assigned for them. So that's the other thing. Excuse me. Like I said, I apologize. I do have a little bit of a chest cold, so if I'm coughing, I'm so sorry. The other thing that I would begin to look at in terms of planning and preparation is, as a teacher, what is your philosophical mindset going into the classroom itself? For example, do you have more of a philosophy of PBL, which is problem-based learning, universal backward design, UBD? If you are, maybe some of you are, I don't know. Maybe some of you are IB teachers, International Baccalaureate teachers, in which case you have a whole body of information and a whole manner by which you can teach, in not only just the curriculum, but also the how-tos. So that's something that you can bring, excuse me, my goodness. That's something that you can certainly bring into the creation of your lesson and the material that you intend to facilitate in the classroom. How are you going to do that? Because those things look different. What is it that you like about PBL versus UBD? And maybe even as a teacher, bring a hybrid of those two things together. put them in the classroom, try it out, see how it works. The great thing about that is the students are going to see that you're doing something different, that it's not just a static linear progression from A to B in terms of learning, but you're modeling a completely different behavior in the classroom. Those little changes, all a part of the planning and preparation, they all have something to do with how the students will then respond to what you're doing. And I guess my personal feeling, my personal rule is that if a lesson has gone badly, typically those are the lessons that I've put the least amount of effort into, or I made no effort at all, and the students can catch me up on that. Because they know, they're smart. They know if I've done my due diligence or if I haven't. And in my experience, when students know that I haven't done my due diligence in a lesson, they're going to act up more. They're going to know, well, if teacher's not taking this seriously, then why should I? And then you have a whole other set of problems in the classroom that you need to deal with. We're going to get to those. So I hope that makes sense, that planning and preparation, I think, is crucial to classroom management. And the one other thing, there's two other things that I want to say about planning and preparation. If you are in a school where you have neural atypical students, so that means students who have learning disorders, learning disabilities, ADHD, that sort of thing. Do you have special education teachers in your school? Because if you do, they can be a valuable resource on giving you tools to interact and to be involved with these particular types of students on a daily basis, you might, that can then help make the classroom a little bit more effective. Okay, so that's something that I would ask you to think about. If you are in that situation, that might be something for you to consider. Pardon me. The last thing that I would say in terms of the planning and preparation is always have an emergency plan ready to go just in case something explodes. And I've used this on a few times. I've used this a few times myself. And what it does is it allows you and the students to reset during the classroom. If you're paying attention to what's going on in the body language dynamics or of the students, and you are starting to see that the students are getting to the point where something could happen, or they're going to start fading out and losing interest, that's when you need to switch gears, throw something else different at them. I don't mean throw like, not throw literally something at them, but throw material at them or do something. Do something different to switch gears, switch their gears, switch your gears. And then it will give them a few minutes of reset. And once you've done that, you can then turn their mind back because they've snapped out of that particular behavior. Sometimes that works. Does it work all the time? No. But I have found it 80 to 90% fairly effective in classrooms that I have dealt with. So that's another little tidbit that you could use in your class. Always have an emergency backup. Even if it's like a 5-minute game. I mean, Eric has a a whole wonderful YouTube channel that dedicated to things like that. There's so many videos that he has. So I would, go check out his channel more about games and things like that. Little things that can break the classroom just a bit to bring them back for the final half. So yeah, planning and preparation. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's understandable. Let me just take a look at some of the, wow, Libya, Iraq, Vietnam, Madagascar, Mexico. Mexico. Hola, ¿cómo está? That's all I know. That's all I've got. Yes, there was this lesson plan is a prerequisite before stepping in the classroom, but very often teachers are ready for improvisation since they should expect the unexpected. Yeah, that is that's actually a really good that does kind of dovetail into what I was saying before, that you need to understand that there may very well be moments where you need to, as a teacher, just change gears very, very quickly, get them back in, draw the students back in, and then continue. So yeah, absolutely spot on comment there. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Okay. Oh, now the list that I'm doing is in no particular order. So here's my next one. This one might be a little controversial, actually, maybe. But admit when you don't know something when you're in the classroom with classroom management. If you are unsure, if the student asks you a question and you don't know how to answer it, be honest. Be honest. Teachers are not gods. We are humans. And we will make errors and mistakes from time to time, either with the material itself or with how we've interacted. But being able to apologize for certain things or to tell the students that we don't know, I think it seems almost antithetical for a teacher to do that, but I think it's very important. And there's a reason why. It gives us, as the teacher, the ability to communicate our own humanity to the students. And with our example, I hope that's something that they can take away from our class, even if they don't necessarily take away the material, but perhaps the behaviors that we embody and exemplify will provide them the tools to move forward. It's possible. I've had experiences with that before, and other than a few times when me doing that sort of thing by admitting that I haven't, I don't know or whatever. There've been a couple of times when that's kind of backfired at me, I'll be honest. But the vast majority of the time, students actually really appreciated the fact that I said that it was okay that I didn't know. But I always said, as a follow-up immediately, was this phrase. I would say something like, "That's a really good question, and I don't know. But I'll have an answer for you next class." So I'm acknowledging that the question or the situation was good, that what you did was, hey, you tripped up the teacher. Awesome. Good points to you. But I'm still going to find the answer for you. You're not going to let me off the hook. And when I come to that next class with you, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point out the student and say, you remember last class you had a question for me and I couldn't answer that. Well, I've got your answer. So let's go through that first before we get into the class. And that's a really good way of creating honest relationships with your students. That's one of the things you're looking for. Honest relationships with your students at whatever age, to bring that depth and connection in. And if you, as a teacher, can embody your discomfort at saying that you don't know something, they know. And they'll definitely be able to catch on to that. Okay, so that's another little thing that have in the back of your mind as well. Now, there have been a couple of questions in here, as I've seen. Any tips for working with larger classes around 25 students online? This is from Sean. That is I won't actually talk about that in depth right now. But there is a website, YouTube channel, the New Ed Tech Classroom. Let me type it in here for you. So the New Ed Tech Classroom. This was a website that I got hooked into. He's a YouTuber, longtime teacher as well. And there are so many different pieces of advice that he has for classrooms that are strictly online or hybrid. And I would definitely take a look at that. If you are in an online situation uniquely and still, absolutely take a look at that. He is... see, there we go. New ed tech guy saved my skin too. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, fantastic educator. I believe he's not. I don't think he's teaching anymore. He did so well during COVID. He actually quit his job and dedicated his life to being the YouTube educator. So he's a fantastic guy. Definitely check him out. Okay, another question here. Let's see. Can you please guide for inquiry lessons? I don't have anything right on the top, kind of off the top of my head in terms of inquiry lessons. I would look at problem-based learning, I think, in your particular situation, and maybe delve into that a little bit and see whether that can actually help facilitate your understanding of inquiry models to then give those to the students. So PBL I have used a few times even at university level, and those lessons do seem to go fairly well. So yeah, PBL certainly. Let's see. There was another one. Binod says, how to teach multi-grade and multi-level students in the same class. Yes. So this is certainly something that these days is certainly becoming much more common than it was, let's say, 10 years ago, where you would have students that have different academic levels all into the same classroom, or that you might teach, like, let's say you're teaching an elementary school class and you've got half of the class is year 4s and half of the class is year 5s. I have not actually had the experience of doing that as a teacher. So I don't want to say anything that may mislead you or misinform you about that. However, what I will do is if you reach out to me on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram, and I will post that at the end of our session, I will give you some information that way, some YouTube videos, some information to help you through that. Okay, so that's nope. Who was that? That was Binod. Okay, multi-class, students. Okay, so I wrote that down. See, it's right there. I wrote it down. So send me a PM to my Instagram or to make a comment on my YouTube channel, and I will get back to you about that. It's a great question. Like I said, I don't want to misrepresent any information to you. Okay. Okay. Here's another little practical tidbit. If you have the ability to do this, not everybody does, but if you have the ability to do this, try to get involved in extracurricular activities with your students. Sports, drama club, AV club, those sorts of things. Binod, you can, hang on. Let me hold my thought here. There we go. That's my Instagram, my @ So there you go. Okay. So when I was in, let me give you a little story. When I was teaching in England back in 2003, 2004, I unwittingly entered somewhat of a gang school without even knowing that that's what I was signing up for. So needless to say, it was a pretty rough place. Not all the students, of course, were like that, but there were some very, very difficult students to deal with. Now, one of the things I made a point of doing on my very first day was get out at recess time, at lunch, and start shooting hoops with my students. They didn't know me, and I didn't know them. But I had a chance to engage with them outside the classroom in a normal human everyday activity. And for a lot of those students, it was fundamental to how they engaged with me as we went on. And it fostered, unwittingly, it fostered a lot of respect between them and me, because I had done something to step out of the normal bounds of student-teacher relationship in that sense. I mean, teachers playing basketball with their students, that's just so weird on lunch break. Ooh, it wasn't normal to them. And because it wasn't normal, it got noticed. So that's just a little story. Drama club. You don't have to be an actor or an actress to be in drama club with students, but it's a fantastic way to get to know a totally different side of your students. And they, in turn, will get to know a totally different side of you. Again, you're bringing that level of humanity into their relationship with you that they've never had before. That type of information is gold. It's gold when it comes to that relational development between teacher and student. Sports clubs. basketball, volleyball, hockey, whatever type of whatever sporting type of stuff you have at your school, make a point of volunteering. And if there's already a teacher doing it, just go in anyway, learn the ropes, be a part of it. Say that you don't really know how to play it very well, but you want to learn. There's nothing wrong with that either. And just get out and do something like that. It can be very, very helpful for, again, creating that level of humanity between you and the students. There is a book. This is an English book. I think he is from the United States. His name is Todd Whitaker. He wrote a book called Classroom Management from the Ground Up. Admittedly, I have not read this book, but my wife actually just, we were talking about this conversation a couple of hours ago, and she told me about the book. So I would, I think it's a very, very popular book for new teachers, especially. So I would offer my recommendation for that. Let me, and this is classroom. From the, oh, I spelled that wrong. See, got to double check. Always got to double check. There you go. Okay. There's the book there. Todd Whitaker, Classroom Management from the Ground Up. He was a longtime teacher. He was a principal. He had worked at a couple of universities as well. So he's got the bona fides, as they say. Okay. Two other things that I want to talk about very quickly. I know we've got about 13 minutes or so, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. Two more things, and then we'll open it up a bit. First of all, you want to go into the classroom with expectations, and those expectations come from you, but it also comes from them. It used to be the teacher told the class what to do. These are my rules for the class. That doesn't really work anymore, because that's not how students engage in their behavior. What I've done in practice has been to ask them, what are your expectations as students about me? Start there first. Don't talk about the classroom rules yet. Talk about what their expectations are of you. And you need to do this for every class, because every class is going to have a different dynamic, and you need to understand that. So when you have an idea of what their expectations are of you as a teacher, then you can begin to formulate the boundaries by which you as a teacher operate, and that they as students expect. It's a wonderful little relational dynamic. It's not a power game. It's just understanding one another. Now, from there, you can then move into a rules or categories, however you want to put that, levels of expectation that you as a teacher and that you as students want to include. And I've done this before, where I say, okay, I'm going to give you my top 3 expectations for the class. And I would also like you guys as students to brainstorm what your expectations are. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. I want you to think, if you're the teacher, what would be the expectations? And we go from there. We throw out those things, little brainstorm, really kind of opens up people's minds to think about that sort of thing. So expectations can be a very nice way of counteracting any kind of negative behavior in a classroom before it even begins. The last thing that I do want to talk about, and this goes into a little bit with the new EdTech classroom, is we have now just come out of 3 years of COVID, and the students are a lot savvier now with technology than they were. I mean, they were pretty savvy before, but now, yeah, they're pretty savvy now with technology because they've lived in a world where their education has been primarily educationally, technologically driven. And I think it behooves us, honestly, as teachers to continue to do that, to bring about new levels of technological integration into the classroom, to give them the tools and the space to continue to explore that world. Now, why do I say this? Well, there's often a complaint, and I've heard this from a myriad of teachers. My students just want to be on their phones. Eric he's here. He's in the background, and he will be coming back very shortly. So just stay tuned. If a student is always on their phone, right, or they're trying to they can't seem to disengage a little bit from their technology. What you can do when you're integrating and using technology in the classroom is you are giving the students permission to use technology at a particular time and in a particular place, but not before. Right? And so you're acknowledging the need for students to have the device or to use it or to feel connected, but you're changing the parameters of when. And as long as they can have it and as long as they can use it and learn from it, that is an appropriate way of using the technology and can actually resolve some potential classroom management issues by actually saying that it's okay to use it. Again, I would take a look at the new EdTech classroom for more information about that. Okay, it is 10:52. I have been talking for 52 minutes, and my throat is killing me. So what I would love to do is I would love if we could just have a few minutes of Q&A if you'd like, or if Eric would like to jump back in and share space with me, that's fine as well. Just so,
Hi there.
Hey, there he is. Okay.
Ben, thank you so much. It's I just I love listening to you talk.
It is
When you
my
speak
pleasure,
on
my friend.
topics, very interesting, and I believe my audience our audience feels the same, because you're very knowledgeable, and I love it when you share your own experiences too. Yeah.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. After 20 hours of traveling, I'm finally in my bed. I took a 2-hour nap and just woke up for the live stream, and now I've been here the whole time. Now, the topic for today is classroom management, and I've got a question. So, how much classroom management do you build into your lessons? So, say for example, by planning your lessons and the activities, you're controlling the time it will take, and by having that limited time that students know they've got to do an activity in, or they've got to do their work, it also keeps them from misbehaving or messing around with their friend, or wasting time on other things. So are there any other ways that you think you can use your lesson plans for classroom management?
I think we have. If we come to our lesson plans critically, and I don't mean critically as in negative, but critically as in to kind of step back from them for a little bit and think about where might the pitfalls in my lesson plan be? Where might I drop off a little bit? And then if I know that that zone, that particular time slot may not be the most exciting for the student or the most engaging, I need to either A, revisit that section of the lesson plan and redo it, or give it a try and see what happens. Because you may find that, oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe they did take it. Okay. It wasn't the best, but it still worked. Okay. So there's a couple of different, I think there's a couple of different strategies that you could employ. I think one of the things that you can do though is time your lesson to make sure that you're not spending too much time on one thing. Bounce around.
Yeah, you want to constantly keep moving.
Yeah. And I did try to do that as much as I could. It's hard when you're kind of, strapped to a computer and you're not physically able to move, but I did try to do that and model that even with what I was doing here.
Yeah.
Talking.
Yeah.
Having some explanation, and then I got a story, and then I'm over here, and then but I'm back over here again, and
you keep it going. And I think that's a thing. If you can anticipate the problems that students might have in sections of your lesson, then you can think of ways of, wait, how can I make this more interesting? How can I help my students enjoy this more or be more focused? So you can actually plan for those things. Another thing I like to do is to prepare my students for it. If I say, guys, listen, for 5 minutes, there's this boring part, but we have to get through it. So I want you to save up your energy and your focus and try and get through it. It'll only take 5 minutes, and then we'll get to another activity. So keeping it moving. Now, Boni-esther has a question. She asks, how can I slow down my speech from a fast New Englander to a well-paced Canadian with lots of experience speaking English to English learning audiences? So Boni-esther has a beautiful accent, but sometimes she feels like perhaps she speaks too fast. So any tips for her? Not that she needs any tips. She's got so much experience.
One of the things, this is Bonnie, that is a fantastic question. And I think one of the things that this is going to sound crazy. One of the things you can do is go into your bathroom or wherever you have a nice big mirror and look at yourself in the mirror and start talking. Just talk to yourself. Doesn't matter what it's about. And then purposefully stop and take the speed down as you're watching yourself by 10%. Just slow down. So and I'm going to do this right now. So I'm talking to you and I'm talking at my normal speed. Now I stop. And now I'm talking a little bit slower and more purposeful so that you understand me, right? So there's that distinction between just slowing down the language and watching yourself slow down in your language. And I've used techniques like that to actually help my students be more comfortable when it comes to speaking in front of a class. Stand in front of a mirror and watch yourself speak. It can give you an enormous amount of information to yourself on who you are when you stand up in front of a classroom. And being able to have that direct feedback is really, really fascinating. You can even set your phone up on one side and record yourself doing it and then go back and look at it again. So
okay.
That's one thing that I would look at.
Fantastic tip. Ben, we're actually at the end of today's live stream. It just flew
Yes.
by, just as you
know.
feel you're starting to get going. Well, you've got in the description below. We've got ESL Revolution. We've got
Okay.
Career Overlander. So
Right.
anyone who wants to check out Ben's channels, please go there. And he also put the link to his Instagram. I would love for you to support him just as he does this channel. So very often. Ben, can you tell us a little bit about what you've got planned for the future and what you're going to do this year or for the semester?
On a kind of a hobby related issue, I'm going to be continuing to do work in Korea Overlander. Hopefully, get a new Overland car, but I'm not sure yet. With ESL Revolution, I'm actually going to be redoing some of the video material that I've already posted and actually updating it because it is a couple of years old. And I want to go back and revisit some of the topics that I've talked about before and bring that channel back to life again. Because I realized that I actually did really enjoy doing that and want to put a little bit more effort into it. So, yeah. So stay tuned, everybody. There's more coming.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you for Ben for sharing your ideas. I hope your kids are in bed. It was so nice to see them in the background, And thank you for all the ideas. Thank you for talking with us. And everyone, please go and check out Ben's channel. Okay, everyone, have a lovely day, and I'll see you next tomorrow. Who do we have tomorrow? Tomorrow we've got writing, teaching, reading with Aja. So check out tomorrow, same time. Okay, Ben, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Eric, for having me. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's been a great pleasure, and I hope to see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.